Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of my Let's Play series of Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Before we jump into the video, I'd like to remind everyone, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button down below and click the little bell notification link right next to the button. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. So, without further ado, excuse me, let's continue where we left off from part 1. We were still searching for the other faulty piece in the engine bay with the motor. I went ahead and found that before I started the episode, and it happened to be another, I think it was a piston with the Conrad, so we got that pulled out. So we've got everything we need to know. So we need to go ahead and just start buying the parts, and my goal for this video is to obviously get this car out of the way, and then I want to bring in my car from the parking garage, and most likely I'll be able to pull the motor out of it, but I might not pull it out. I'm probably going to just change the spark plugs in it and see if I can get it to actually start so we can test drive it. So let's stop talking and actually start getting to work on some of this stuff. So we're going to need some rocker arms, timing cover, crankshaft pulley, piston rings, quite a few different things. And you have to bear with me here, folks, because it does take me a while to remember all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and start with the pistons. So we'll look in the store here. Here's the piston with Conrads. This is a VO or V8 OHV motor. I don't think we actually need that type of piston though. Nope. This takes the regular piston, so we're good to go. I like to keep a bunch of this stuff on hand. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got the extra money. I'm going to buy 10 of them. We need the piston rings. I'm pretty sure it's just the regular ones. We're going to buy 10 of those. It's 200 bucks. We're going to go ahead and buy 10 of the other ones. We'll have them in stock if we ever get a car in that requires it. So there's that. Let's take a look at the list again. Rocker arms and timing cover. Let's go after that. And I also saw crankshaft pulley, so hopefully I can remember that. Let's just go with the rocker arms right now. If I remember right, I actually have a bunch of these in stock already. So let's go ahead and see what I have and what I don't have. So let's go ahead and mount these parts. We can get the pistons put back in. The piston and the piston ring, combine them together, and that's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be a nice shiny silver looking color. So we have some good looking pistons in here, and I think I'm actually putting I don't need to put all of these pistons in new. Some of these pistons that I pulled out were okay condition, but since I already bought brand new ones, I don't think I'm going to get paid extra for it. I'd rather go ahead and just put new pistons in. So they're getting a little bonus there. Most shops probably would not do that for you, especially if you're not getting paid for it. Alright, let's go ahead and put the engine head back on, and then we'll continue from there. Once we get that put in, we'll be able to see which rocker arms we have and if we need to buy any. So now that's there. Okay, valve push rods. Those have to go in first. And let's see the first rocker arm. We've got several of them in stock, so we should be good to go with those. So let's go ahead and get these valve push rods in. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video getting these rocker arms put in, so sit tight. Alrighty guys, I'm glad you made it through that. If you guys want me to actually commentate while doing all that, I'll be glad to do it, but it is very slow and very tedious, so I figured it'd be better just to fast forward through that, so I'll probably do that if no one says anything. Alright, let's go ahead and put these covers back on. Some of this stuff is more interesting, and I'll probably go ahead and record it while we're doing it, but if some of this stuff gets too monotonous, please feel free to share your opinions on the matter. We will definitely just skip through it. We can always speed up having to work on the motor or whatever, and just mainly focus on more important things. But right now, I think this is a pretty interesting aspect of the game. It's just there's so many rocker arms and push valves to get put on there, so I went ahead and skipped through that. Alright, now we're getting the intake manifold put on, and this car has a 4-barrel carburetor. And speaking of 4-barrel carburetors, my grandpa used to have, well, and I say used to, a 72 Chevy pickup, and it had a 4-barrel carburetor too, 92 V6 motor. That thing is a powerhouse. And then my dad actually swapped it out for just a regular carburetor. It didn't have anywhere near as much power as it needed, so he put the 4-barrel back on it. So I don't know in regards to this car and other V8 motors if the 4-barrel carburetor gives it a lot more snort, but I know it did for my grandpa's truck. Let's make sure we don't miss anything here. Of course, it won't let me finish the job until I actually finish everything on the list and everything is put back on the car that's supposed to be on the car. And of course, I can just decide not to finish it, but I'm not going to do that. Now, these are all spark plugs that I have in stock, and those cost me quite a bit of money, so I'm going to put the original spark plugs in. They didn't want them changed. They are going to get a free one because I already put one newer one on the end there. I'm not going to take it back out. We are going to go ahead and go back with the original spark plugs that were in it because they don't want them changed, and I'm pretty sure I won't get paid for changing them. So we are going to put the originals back in. Alrighty, we got this side almost put back together. Now we can put the spark plugs back in over here. And we're getting pretty darn close to being done under the hood here, and we're going to jump back underneath the car and put those dealios for the the pistons on the bottom that hold them together. Can't think of what they're called, but we'll get to that when we get down there. Alright, and we've got lots of spark plugs, so we've got a spark plug or spark plugs that we can put in my car whenever we finally get to that. And now that I think about it, guys, that might be another video for another day. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I like to keep the videos within 20 minutes, no more than 30 minutes long. So we shall see. We might get my card pull in here, and we might pull the engine off of it. I know we're going to have to do that in order to fix it completely, but I do want to try the spark plug. So I think I will fit that in today's episode, and then we'll pull the motor out and probably quit there. Alright, we need the timing cover, so apparently typing in time is not going to give it. So let's actually type in timing. And let's see. This is a V8. I'm not sure if it's... I think it's the timing cover V8 OHV. It's only $45. If I bought the wrong one, it's okay. I'll just have it in stock whenever it comes time to put that on another car. And we were right. Kind of throws me off because there's specific pistons for a V8 OHV, but this car doesn't actually require that. So I guess we're all good there. Let's get the water pump put back on it. Interesting how huge the water pumps are on these older vehicles. That's the water pump pulley, and then crankshaft pulley is a V8 OHV. It needs to be replaced, so let's jump onto my tablet here, and we're going to get that changed. So it should be under here, crankshaft pulley. Those are all dealing with the transmission. Well, you know, that's the worst thing about this game, guys. I very, very easily forget what it is I'm looking for. Crankshaft pulley is what we're looking for, so let's type that in again. We'll actually type in crankshaft pulley. 2 L's, right? Yep. Okay, and it's the V8 OHV. That's $200. Quite a bit of money. That's more money, though, that we're getting paid for doing this, so that's a good thing. Here we go. Brand new one right on the front. There we go. Now we got to put this belt back on. It's in okay shape. And one more belt. That should be, and then the radiator fan, of course, can't forget that. 4 bolts holding it in. And there we go. Is that everything? That should be everything on the top side of the car here. So we should be able to just throw the stuff on the bottom, and then we're going to go straight to working on the transmission of this car. So let's raise it up. And let's see here. This is actually kind of a tedious thing to deal with too, so I'm going to go ahead and speed through this, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay guys, welcome back. I was kind of worried there I was going to miss a few of those, and of course, like I said, it wouldn't let me finish the job if I did miss any, but it also wouldn't allow me to put the oil pan back under if I hadn't finished that, okay? So the oil pan's on, so we've gotten everything we need to put back on there, and the motor should be done. So let's not forget to put oil back in the car, and most likely put a new oil filter on before we send this car on its way. So we got transmission work to do here, guys, and I always get this wrong. There we are. Crankshaft. Gosh dang it, I just saw it. It's hard for me to click on it. It's the problem here. There we are. Crankshaft, hold it down. We've got 4 bolts on each end of the crankshaft. We've got to take it off to get to the transmission. And this transmission has got to go. It's actually not an item on the list, but it's, as you can see, in very, very bad shape. So I imagine it'll be added to the list. Alright, we've got 6 bolts holding it on. We had to take the starter off in order to take it off. And then we've got a clutch release bearing that's bad. The clutch pressure plate is bad. So let's go ahead and pull that off. The clutch plate and the flywheel. All pretty expensive stuff that I personally wouldn't have to want to have to replace. So let's go ahead and excuse me guys, it's none of those. I didn't mean to type any of that in. Let's go ahead and, sorry guys, this happens a lot. I gotta go to car status because I forget exactly what I took off. Alright, clutch, flywheel, clutch plate. Alright, and what is the transmission itself? It's a gearbox V8 OHV. Should be pretty obvious. Alright, clutch. Alright, clutch plate. Don't let me forget flywheel, which I won't because it's fresh in my mind. Flywheel's $500. That's crazy. Alright, we're going to go to the gearboxes. Pretty short list. Gearbox, we need the V8 OHV. That would be this one, $900. See, I told you this. Anytime we have to replace transmissions, real life, it sucks. In this game, it's not hard at all, and we get paid a lot of money to get it done. So here's our brand new $500 flywheel. The clutch plate wasn't as expensive. The pressure plate not as expensive. It's got to be bolted in. And there should be a bearing that goes on the outside of this. It's the clutch release bearing. And now that's on. The new transmission itself. There it is. And that's another cool thing about this, guys. You can actually repair some of these parts. I don't think I am able to repair transmissions and stuff at this early stage of the game for me, but you can do it, I believe, in the future. And there are smaller things I am actually capable of repairing in the game, like I don't know if spark plugs are really a thing you can repair, but there are smaller parts that I can repair over at the bench. So everything I've taken off, I actually keep, and if it's worth anything, I can sell it, or I can even try to repair it if my skill level is high enough. Alright, that's everything to do with the transmission. Let's take a look at the car stats. Engine is fixed. Transmission's fixed. The grinding and shaking from the gearbox is fixed. And we fixed all the gearbox problems. This car is completed, guys. I love it whenever it goes that easy. But what's one thing I forgot to do? Put oil in the car. They didn't tell me to change the oil, but I didn't put the oil filter back on. So let's raise that sucker right back on up there. Like I said, it won't let me do certain things, so it's not like I'd be dripping oil out everywhere, guys. Oh, the oil filter's on. I forgot. I put it back on. See, it's a good thing to check, though. Good thing, real life thing. You don't want to start pouring oil in the car and then just have it leak out all over the place because you forgot to put the oil filter back on, or the oil plug, which you actually don't have to worry about in this game, putting the oil plug back in. Let's put oil in this car because it won't let us send it out completed if you don't, because that's common sense. Alright, that should be enough. Usually when the bottle tips back over like that, it's enough, but cool thing about this game, you can actually check the oil levels by pulling out the dipstick, which we're going to do. Look at that, guys. It's actually not clear up on the max, so I think it actually could hold a little more. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to be a good car mechanic here, and we're going to fill this thing up to the brim. But it actually can overfill, and it doesn't really do anything to the car. It just cost me a little extra money, I think, which it was like $4 to add that little last bit of oil. I don't think oil's that cheap in real life. And there we are, right on the dot. Car is done. We're going to close the hood. Right click, car stats, finish order. This job, we spent $3,614 on it. Task bonus is 63, job bonus 21. We're getting paid $12,000, guys, to fix that car. Car complete. Clip B is missing from the car. What is a clip B? I'm assuming that has to do with a distributor cap. Oh, thank goodness, because it doesn't tell you half the time. If you forget a part, it's not on the car list, and you can't highlight it. But I just happen to think, yeah, there's clips on the ignition coil cap there. Okay, can we finish it now? There it goes out the door, guys. $12,000. I think we just gained a level. Now, this is a ridiculous thing. I was thinking about this all day while I was working. We've obviously got an engine stand here, but can I use said engine stand? No, I cannot. You have to unlock it in order to use it. So, I can't do anything with this. If I remember right, I actually have to, you go to this for the skill tree, and I've got an upgrade level here, but I see nothing in here that has to do with the engine, actual engine hoist. So I'm going to have to look into that. But like I said, before we wrap up this video, I want to bring my car in here and put some spark plugs in it. This is our new job, if you guys remember from the previous episode. This car needs some work. We've got engine problems, timing problems, engine control and repair, all the filters, lack of engine power, gear problems, and suspension. That'll be a new thing. That'll be all for part 3, and we'll try to squeeze all of that into its own episode. But let's go ahead and move this car up to the lifter, and we're going to pull my car in here, and we're going to change the spark plugs in it, and we're going to see if that will allow it to start. But there's so much stuff wrong with it, I really rather doubt it. I think everything important inside the motor is gone completely crap, so it's probably not going to fix it. But I did work on a car once in this game. I could not get it started, and whenever I checked the checklist, it happened to be the spark plug that kept it from starting. So I want to try it. The car, I mean, I'm amazed, really. You know, the car does not look that bad. It just needs a lot of suspension and engine work to get it to run. And I mean literal. Everything within the engine needs to be redone, including the radiator and the radiator fan. I mean, everything. Okay, let's move it in. Car stats. And unfortunately, I spent $12,000 on this car, and the car is already worth $14,300, guys. You know what's crazy? The craziest thing about this, all I did was put a new engine cover on it and a new air filter cover, and I increased the value by $2,000. Now, how in the hell in real life would that happen? The car does not run at all, but it's automatically worth $2,000 more because I replaced the engine cover and the air filter case. No way in hell. So I could make $2,000 off this car right now for just replacing those two parts, but why would I do that? I want to actually fix this car up. I want to eventually be able to paint it, because you can do that in this game. You can customize it from, you know, from tire to body to everything. I want to change the color. I'm going to paint it red. Red's my favorite color. All right, before we wrap up this episode, guys, like I said, we're going to get down to the spark plugs, and we're going to pull them out and put new spark plugs in and see if this car will start. We actually can't start it in the shop here, but I could take it to the test track, and it won't let me take it to the test track unless it will start. So that will be the deciding factor on whether or not it will start when I try to go to the test track. All right, all the spark plugs are out. Let's go to the assembly mode. We're going to put all new spark plugs in it. And like I said, there's probably too much wrong with it underneath the engine. I really want to use that engine hoist, and before the next episode, I plan to figure out how to use it, or at least unlock it, because it says it needs to be unlocked, like a skill point. And look here, the ignition wires, they're to 27%. There's no way. This thing probably is not going to start. And what is this thing? Engine head, but what's this thing sticking out of it? I guess that's a part of the engine head, but it's like a pipe sticking out, going nowhere. I have no idea. I'm assuming something goes on that. Well, I guess time will tell. Okay, close the hood. Let's see if we can take it for a drive. Test track. That'd be my car there. Car cannot start. Okay, guys. Engine's going to have to be overhauled before this car can have anything done to it. So, just like in the first episode, we're going to send it right back to parking. And out there in parking it will stay. until we get a new engine hoist. And then we're going to permanently move it in to the second engine hoist so we can look at it and work on it a little bit at a time. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to check out some of my other videos. Click on my face here in the middle of the screen to subscribe. That's so important right now to keep up to date with my videos. If you click in the upper left hand corner of the screen, you'll be able to watch the previous episode, and if you click in the upper right hand corner, you'll be able to watch the next episode in this series. If it's not there yet, well, it could mean one of two things. One, it's just not uploaded yet, or two, I haven't actually gotten to put the videos in the corners of the screen yet. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later for the next episode.